Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Being More with Ibukun Omololu. So let me just say how excited I am here to be back again after such a long break. I'm so glad to be back with more verve, more zest, and really excited to do this episode. So if this is your first time listening to my podcast or hearing about me, then I say a hearty welcome. And if you're already a listener of my podcast, then welcome right back. Along with my greetings, I bring you my introduction. I am your host, Ibukun Omololu, a gender advocate, speaker, author, wife, mother, and a leader. Today's episode is truly special as we focus on the theme Inspire Inclusion, living with lupus in Nigeria, in honor of International Women's Day. Lupus is an autoimmune disease that affects millions worldwide, and today we'll explore the experiences of those living with lupus with emphasis in Nigeria. We're going to be shedding light on their story of courage, determination, and the power of inclusion. My guest today is Titilayo Ogunsanya, a remarkable lupus survivor who has become an advocate for inspiring inclusion. Titilayo is a senior town planning officer with the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. She holds a bachelor's degree in geography and regional planning from Olabisi Onabanjo University and a master's degree in urban and regional planning from Lagos State University. Welcome to Being More, Titilayo. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Ibukun. I'm super excited.
I am. We've had this a long time coming, and I'm super glad that we're finally doing this today. Yes. So please tell us more about yourself.
I am Ms. Titilayo Ogunsanya, a senior town planning officer. I am a lupus survivor, a dedicated advocate for lupus. I am passionate about being a voice for people living with lupus. I realize that there is no adequate information about lupus. So I want to be a voice for lupus and everybody living with lupus. I am on a mission to ensure that lupus awareness, sensitization, and the information gets to the grassroots and the indigenous community. This information gets to those people who really need them, so that they can know that there is a disease, a chronic autoimmune disease called lupus.
Great. Thank you so much for that context. So just let's, dive right into it. What exactly is lupus and how does it happen?
Lupus is an autoimmune disease that attacks the body organs. The body organs that is meant to protect itself, this immune system begins to fight each other. And thereby lupus happen. When this immune system begins to fight each other, your organs are now exposed to infection, and lupus takes place. Lupus symptoms can be severe and it can be mild. It depends on individuals. My symptoms about lupus is different from another person. Lupus attacks the kidney, it attacks the lungs, it attacks our brain, it attacks the lungs. It depends where lupus is eating in your body.
Wow, sounds very scary. What were the initial signs that, alerted you to a health issue? Because the way you're saying it, it's like it could be any part of the body. So you can't really know exactly what it is or where something is coming from. So what, alerted you that this is like a health issue?
I remember in 2019, precisely around March, I have this hairdresser that usually makes my hair. And that particular day, she was making my hair and she made a statement like, "Auntie, there's a dandruff in your scalp." And I said, How did this dandruff get in there? She promised that she's going to get me a dandruff medicine or a cream that would take away the dandruffs. When I gave her some particular amount of money and she brought the cream, I was intentional about taking the dandruff because I don't want to see dandruff in my scalp. I started using this cream. This little thing that looked like a dandruff started expanding. And before you know it, my hair were already removing. I had serious hair loss. The same occurrence around my mouth, very terrible mouth blisters. When I mean blisters, sores to the extent that I could not even eat, I could not even drink. My gums were red. At this point, I knew that something was wrong with me and I need to get medical attention as soon as possible. And this process went about 11 months. Yes. This same thing started attacking my ear. I had sores, I had wounds, I had terrible rashes. When I mean rashes, sores in my body, it became a stigma because I couldn't even open my body around my peers. I had migraine, headache, extreme fatigue. In between that pace, I went to consult with a consultant, and back to back for 11 months, we were on it. I did so many tests. I saw the ENT, I saw the dermatologist, I saw the ophthalmologist, I saw the neurologist, I saw the hematologist, I saw the optician, I saw the dentist. I could not even count how many specialists I saw.
So, wait right there. Given the Nigerian medical system, you were moving from one specialist to the other.
Yes.
And I want to believe that it's not like you were just going from one person to the other. You were probably doing tests along with them. What was that like?
It was a very terrible experience. Because today, I don't know what the doctor will be telling me. I don't know the test the doctor will be telling me to run. But they would just say, you know what? For us to investigate this, you have to go and do this test. And they have given me a list of tests that I needed to do. And it kept on going. You know, I actually wanted to know what was wrong with me. How do I come to the hospital in the morning and you are telling me, you know, you have to just go and do this again? I was tired, emotionally tired.
So it wasn't like they were able to really they really couldn't see anything, because usually when you do a test, they give you a diagnosis like, okay, this is what we see. But what I'm hearing you say is that you do the test and they're like, we may have to refer you to, because we are not, is it that we're not certain, or we're not sure what we see, or there's nothing wrong, or, you know, I don't get it.
You know one thing about lupus presents itself like other disease. So they'll be trying, maybe it's malaria. In between, I did HIV test. I can't even count the number of HIV tests I did. I did lipid tests. They were just thinking that, if these things are attacking your skin, okay, get a dermatologist. And the dermatologist is giving you treatment for those sores. But because they didn't know the underlying factor that was triggering all these things, we kept on going from one consultation with a specialist to the other. And the last doctor I saw was the neurologist. At that time, I was already going mad. Yes, I was going AWire. Like, can somebody just tell me what is wrong with me? I was tired. I was physically drained, emotionally drained, and financially drained. Wow. Yes.
This must have been super traumatizing, because, I mean, some few weeks ago, I started to feel really funny and I couldn't tell exactly what was wrong with me. And, you know, in between that, I want to go and do a test to do this, and also that I can know exactly what is wrong with me. And now in this case, no one can actually tell you exactly what is wrong with you. And then you are referred to. So tell me, what did that do to you psychologically?
You know, people that say Google is your friend, when it comes to things like this, Google is not your friend.
Wow.
Google keeps telling me I had this, I had that.
Oh my God.
I'll just go and Google, when you have this kind of symptoms, what is happening? I can't count the number of times Google said it was cancer. And all I just was caring about is what was wrong with me. Can somebody just tell me, you know, that anxiety, it led to depression for me. My BP was just a normal BP. And as at the last consultant I saw, my BP was 200, 107.
Wow.
Yes. That was when I was consulting with the specialist in the private hospital. Can I shock you? When I consulted with the neurologist, which was the last the specialist I saw in the private hospital, I remembered going to his office. I knelt down and I begged him that even if I am going to die, let me know what is wrong with me. Let me know the cause or the root cause of my death. Because I can't die like this. He looked at me and said, you will not die. We would find solutions to your problem.
So how were you eventually diagnosed? At what point did they come to, did you get to know that this is lupus? And what was that journey like for you?
That I told you it started, I can't remember if I said it started around March, April 2019. And when I saw the specialist, that was a neurologist, that was already in January. So
January
2020.
Wow.
Yes, I was still on it from March till January 2020. And at that point, the doctor said he was suspecting 2 types of disease, but it cannot be clear, that I have to go and do another brain scan and brain whatever. I told him I had already spent much. Where do you expect me to get this money from? He said he had another alternative, which I went to do. By the time the test results came out, positive. When I took the test results to him, he said, look at me, I can remember his word vividly. Look at the 4 corners of this hospital. I remember the last time you came, you said you don't want to die. Don't come back to this hospital again. Find your way to Lasut or Lut, to the rheumatology clinic or department. That is where they'll find a solution to what is wrong with you. And that was in January 2020, from March 2019 to January 2020.
So what did you do?
When I got to the rheumatology department, I was told that there was no slots for me because the month was already full. I had to tell them that I did a lot of drama before I got a slot. And thankfully, I saw the day I went to the my appointment date in Lasut, I saw the head of consultant for rheumatology, Professor Titilayo. I am giving a shout out to you because you are doing a great job. And the entire team, rheumatologist department in Lasut, Dr. Olaoshebiko, and the rest of the team, I give it up to you. That day I was crying and I told the doctor that I just wanted to know what was wrong with me. I removed my clothes, look at my body. Why do you have the sores? Where is my hair? There was no hair on my head anymore. It has disappeared. And Prof said I have to go and do another test. After so much, amongst the doctors, that I should go and do another test. I did that test that day, and the test results came out, and they saw it and said it was lupus. And that was in February 2020.
So it took you approximately 1 year,
yes,
to get diagnosed.
Yes.
Wow, this is such a wow. Thank you for your, for sharing about this journey of yours. So,
sorry, there is something I would like you to know.
Yes, please.
That same day was the day I knew that lupus doesn't have a cure.
Oh dear.
That you have to live with lupus all the rest of your life.
Prior to that, you probably had never heard of anything called lupus, right?
I don't even know such the drama. I was diagnosed with that other type of lupus, but I was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus.
What does that mean?
That is just the name. It is an autoimmune condition. It is a type of lupus that attacks your body organs. That is a particular lupus that attacks the tissue organs. It can attack your kidney, it can attack your lungs, it can attack your joints, it can attack any part of your body. So I was diagnosed with the aspect of lupus called SLE.
So what you're telling me, what that looks like concretely is that I wake up this morning, it's my kidney. Tomorrow, it's my head. Next tomorrow, it's my lungs.
Yes.
Next tomorrow, it's so I could have different attacks. So what does that look like for you on a typical day? What's that like for you? Please give me your daily routine, or what that is like, or of how a week is like for Titilayo.
A week for me, lupus sometimes is determine my week. I might have a schedule that I want to do this on Monday, and I wake up on Monday, my body is telling me, no, you cannot do that. You have to go back to your bed and sleep. I might have scheduled that I want to do this for Tuesday, and my body, I can't even walk. The pain can be so severe that you cannot even walk. You need support. You need some people to hold you to walk. I am not exaggerating. This is what happens when you have lupus. But there are ways you can actually manage the stress. But it's not like it will not come. The flare will not come. Because when lupus is active, anything can happen. When lupus is active in your body, anything can happen. So for my daily transaction, I am sorry if I don't show up at the wedding. I promise you I'm going to come. I'm sorry, I could not just make it.
So in your bio, we read that you're a senior town planning officer. And a big part of this discussion is about inclusion. First of all, leading up to that, at what age were you diagnosed with lupus? Did this show up when you were growing up as a little girl in any way? At what? Just to give us context.
Amongst my family, nobody has lupus. When they even said I had lupus, like, what is lupus? Nobody in my entire family, my mother's and my father's side, has anything that has to do with lupus. I was the very first person that encountered this autoimmune disease called lupus. So it wasn't like I inherited it from anybody or from my family. It was just something that happened. Research says that there are some environmental factors, genetical factors, and hormonal imbalances that also triggers lupus. Maybe I wouldn't know, but none of my family members has lupus. I am the only one that has lupus.
Were you told at the hospital how you got this? Was it where they couldn't?
Nobody could say anything. I just had lupus.
So it's incredible to hear how you turned this around. How you turned this around your personal. This as a catalyst for your personal journey. So how did you get to be able to start working for the Lagos State government, the ministry?
I had started working before I had lupus. Yes, lupus happened sometimes in February 2019 to 2020. So I was already in the service when lupus started.
So when that happened, how were you able to present that at work? Because I know you still work there, and I wanted you to talk about that. And a big part of why I'm raising that is that when we talk about inclusion, we know there are quite a number of ethnic minority groups, physically challenged people who are not particularly included in the workplaces. And you as a woman, for that matter, the fact that you're even a woman and then you're living with such a challenge and yet you're still working. I want you to kind of give us a glimpse into what that looks like for you in the workplace and how that has been. Has there been support? Has there been challenges and all of that, and how has your workplace really helped and supported?
When I was diagnosed of lupus, I already said it was traumatizing. The doctor told me that day that you need to just have an intentional lifestyle. The name itself was so scary. I made up my mind to do more research about what was going on. I started researching about what lupus is about, for me to even have an understanding of what is going on inside my body. I started doing research of how to live healthy with lupus, how to get support. You see, you cannot do lupus by yourself if you don't have community and family support. You can't do life with lupus alone. You need people around you to support you. So you have to speak out. Nobody will know that I am sitting down and I am having pains if I don't talk. So what I did was get the right information about what was wrong with me. I started personally sensitizing people that this is what I am going through. I am sorry if you have to tell me to do this. I might not be able to do it. I work as a field officer. I go to sites. And one of the things that triggers lupus is the sun. Yes, the sun. It is a very high catalyst for lupus. If you're under the sun, you know that you are ready to go into endless pains. I had to call my boss. I am going through this. and this is what I need from you. I need you to help me because there are some certain things you will be demanding from me that I cannot do. I have a very good family support. My siblings, my sisters, everybody around me supports me. They all went to do research about what lupus is about. And they know that I am not exaggerating things. I actually need help. What I did was call my bosses and inform them that I sensitize them about the chronic disease called lupus, and that these are the things I'll be needing from you so that I can also continue in life. And to the glory of God, my colleagues are very supportive. The day I can't go to work, I just schedule, like, they'll tell me, okay, take your time to rest, do this, do that. So my colleagues, my workplace, my bosses, they've been very, very understanding because they know the extent. They follow my content on social media and they see that, yes, this girl is going through this, and they have given me all the support that I need, especially in my workplace.
Can you give us an example of a very chronic period where lupus really impacted you and you couldn't go to work, and what that was like for you, and how you were able to and how your colleagues or your bosses were able to support you?
Yes, the time I went to write my promotional exam in Ibadan, and I knew that it was going to be very stressful. I was initially very, very sick. Very, very sick. But because I had a good rapport with my colleague, I told one of my colleagues that, I'm sorry, I can't go with public transport. So you have to come and pick me from my house to go to Ibadan. When I got to Ibadan, I could not, that morning I was just lying in bed. They had to encourage me. They helped me through to go and write my exams.
When you say they, who were these people?
My colleagues in the office. So there are days that my boss give me a work or a report. What my boss usually do is that, Titi, if you know you cannot deliver this particular time, take your time to do it and get it back to me. So for my work, I won't say that it has been stressful. No, they have an understanding about my chronic condition, so they give me time to be able to heal. If I call in that I'm sick, they support me.
So you said everyone around you had to do some form of research. In your opinion, are there enough resources and information about lupus that people can learn from?
I would say that my answer is capital NO. Like other diseases like cancer, HIV, malaria, what's other also diseases. When you have malaria, you have to go to the hospital to take a malaria test and you get drugs, or you have to ensure that the parasite that gives malaria doesn't get to you. Cancer, you go online, there's a lot of research about cancer, HIV, AIDS, people know about this. But lupus is not a household name already. People don't even know what lupus exists, that something like lupus exists. 2 weeks ago, I was talking to someone that she said she hasn't seen me in a while. Yes, I said, let me even tell you, do you know there is a disease called lupus? And like lupus, is it like a form of shawarma of pizza? You can imagine. So the awareness for lupus in this part of our country is very, very minimal. But there are upcoming research. The awareness the turnout is very, very low. And this is one of the reasons I decided to be a voice by sharing my story. By doing this, I am giving information and knowledge to people. I am creating awareness that this, thank God for this popular actress that came out. If not that, we would have still been in dark. When I want to describe lupus, I will tell someone, do you remember that Nigerian artist that came out? Oh, okay, yes. Okay, I remember, yes. That is exactly what I was diagnosed. So like, are you serious? So I used that as a kind of tag, like, oh, do you remember her? And that is how a lot of people in my few people around me know about lupus. So the awareness for lupus is still very, very minimal. Unlike the other disease, I want people don't know that there is something called lupus. The awareness is low.
So, from your experience, what guidance or advice would you offer to individuals living with lupus? You've gone through such a very, I don't even know, traumatic, harrowing experience, and I'm sure you've learned some things along the line that has really helped you. You were telling me the other day about people who had to do transplant and the likes. What guidance or advice would you offer individuals living with the condition known as lupus?
I am a Christian and I am a believer. Yes, I have to say that I believe in God that one day there will be a miracle. But before the miracle comes, I believe in God that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So one of the striking balance for me to continue to do life is having that faith in God. But while we are waiting and believing in miracles, there are still other things that we can do. Like I said, you cannot do life alone with lupus. You have to get community support, religious support. You have to tell people what you are going through. I am not a lazy person, but lupus can make me lazy. If your expectation from me is that I will do something for you, I'm sorry, I might disappoint you. Not because I don't want to do it. At that time you want me to, but the time you are asking me, I can't do it. And because of this, there is a particular stigmatization about it that people don't, they think you are exaggerating. So you have to, first of all, you have to create your own joy. You have to create your own happiness. I remember that I told you that somebody told me that I hope I wasn't dating a guy that was beating me because I had wounds around my eyes. You have to create your inner joy and have a positive mindset. You don't allow people to break you. This is who you are right now. You are going through lupus. You have to take drugs to survive. If you want to do life, you have to take drugs. You have to take drugs. So you also have to ensure that you go for your medical checkup regularly. I go for my routine every 3 months. There are so many diagnoses that you have to do. They have to follow up on your urine, follow up your ESR, your blood, to ensure that you are actually responding to treatment. If there is any slightest things in this test that you run, your doctor would alert you and tell you the next thing. We have people that have gone through transplants, yes, because lupus has ruptured their kidney. And that takes me to the financial aspects of lupus. We need medical and health insurance. Yes, I'm going to mention a very good person of mine. She's also a very strong advocate for lupus. She has a LUREG, a support for a lupus group. It's called LUREG, Mrs. Sanusi, Mrs. Bukola Sanusi, and she's doing a great job. Right now, she had a meeting in the State House. Yes, she's having a meeting right now. She's in Abuja to also let people know that we need this thing. We have people that have died because they could not have access to health facilities. So when you are doing lupus, you have to understand that you have to manage stress. Stress is one of the things that also triggers lupus. Manage your time, schedule your time. You cannot be there for everybody. Unless you want to kill yourself, your body won't even allow you to. You have to manage stress. In my bag, I have my umbrella. I go about with my hat and I have my sunscreen. Because when I get too exposed to the sun, it is another story. So you have to know what works for you. I know what works for me. You know, I said that lupus, its symptoms varies from individual to individual. But the advice I can give people is to trust God, go for your medical checkup, get community and family support, religious support. Even in your churches, let them know that sometimes it's not because you don't want to come for choir rehearsals or you don't want to come for these rehearsals. You are tired. Your body cannot do it. So they should understand. Not because you are lazy, but your body can help you. Have a positive mindset. Can I shock you? I had my master's after I was diagnosed with lupus. It wasn't an easy journey though, but I had already made up my mind that even with lupus, I can live my life. I had my master's even while I was diagnosed with lupus. Yes. So you can be whoever you want to be with lupus, as long as you have that positive mindset and the right energy.
Fantastic. This is such a powerful message, Titi, and I'm really, really inspired by your journey. While you were speaking, you were saying something about medicine, and I just want to help our viewers to get a glimpse. So you have to take medications every single day. Like, how many medications do you take per day?
For me, I take about 7. For some others, I can't count. Some persons are battling with kidney issues, liver issues, heart issues, brain issues. So everybody has their own segment drugs that I take. For me, I take about 7 that I take every day. I mean, I take it every morning. And there are some that I have to take twice in a day. They are very expensive drugs that an average Nigerian might not be able to afford. Going by the inflation these days.
That's exactly where my mind went.
I usually get my drugs quarterly or sometimes monthly. I bought one particular drug. I usually get this drug for about 14,000 naira. Can I shock you? I got it for 20,000 naira. And I was wondering that how will people cope? We have people that take about 3 different types of that particular drug. And you have to take it. There was a time I was thinking that I was relaxed that I did not take my drugs for just 2 days. You see that mouth blisters that I told you about? They started, my mouth became sore again. I could see the red things around my gum. I believe in miracle, but before the miracle comes, you have to ensure that you take it. I take about 6 to 7 drugs every day. They are financially draining. People with lupus need help. They need medical insurance.
Wow. This is, at this point, I really just want to thank you for your courage to come out to speak. I remember we met at the Flourish Africa conference, and you had spoken so much about it, and I'm so glad that we got a chance to do this. And I know you've also spoken on the radios on 2 other episodes about lupus, and I really hope that we're able to get this word out as much as possible. And thank you so much for sharing about your experience. So just moving on to something on a lighter note, just for our viewers to get to.
I'm sorry, there's a particular part that I skipped, which is one of the reasons I am doing this advocacy.
Please go ahead.
You see, we are in Africa, we are in Nigeria, and we are, sometimes it can be traditional, and people tend to see lupus more of a spiritual condition than a medical condition. I have to go back to this because we had a case of a young girl that her parents had to give her concussion. Yes, that people call agbo. Lupus is already attacking your kidney, and you are giving this child agbo. You are taking this child for spiritual deliverance. Someone that is already in pains. Eventually, by the time people around found out that we think this thing actually looks like, I know someone that has this disease, and they consulted the person. Before medical attention could get to this girl, she had already started having blood in her urine, but the girl died. So there's an aspect of spiritual, there is an aspect of medical. We don't have to spiritualize everything. We don't have to spiritualize everything. Yes, how do you explain waking up and you're seeing that your hair is going off? You wake up, you see scars, marks around your body. The first thing that will tell you that, I think you've not gone to offend someone that has cursed you or that has laid a curse on you. And people start tending to look about the spiritual aspect, neglecting the medical aspect. So that aspect needs, that mentality needs to be erased. I told you I went about 11 months before I could be diagnosed. So lupus is not a spiritual attack. It is a medical condition that, if properly managed, right information, which we are doing now, which is one of the reasons I am sharing my story. you can live life with lupus. So I had to digress to that it is not what people call village people attack. That is not lupus. Yes, it presents itself like village people, your height is swollen, your hand, the doctor cannot even ascertain that this is what is wrong with you. So it is more of a medical condition than a spiritual condition.
Fantastic. I'm glad you brought that insight that we need a lot more awareness, breaking the myths,
yes,
and all the other stories around it, all the stigmatization and all the other things around it. And I think this is a great place to reach out and call out to our lawmakers, our policymakers, the healthcare system, and everybody who can actually do something about it. I'm thinking about the lowest grassroots people who do not have this level of information and awareness, and how much havoc this might have wreaked in their own communities. Yes. So we're calling on lawmakers and all our politicians as well as leaders to please do something about this. Thank you so much for sharing, Titi. We're really grateful that you're able to speak about this. Just 2 personal questions, just so our audience can get to know you more. You are such an inspiring woman. I'm so inspired by the fact that you actually took your master's after this, because I know what that entails. But given that we are at a time of the year that's really fun, what's your favorite holiday of the year and why?
My favorite holiday of the year is around this time in December, because I am out of work, and I have plenty of my friends that usually come around. Sometimes I travel. It's good for my mental health. Just travel and meet new people. I go for holidays. I go to resort centers to just clear my head, enjoy life. Before lupus, I love to dance. No, I am a great dancer, but I can't dance. Once in a while, I want to dance, and if you dance like this, you don't know the kind of pain, the kind of cry you cry when you get them. But I want to just get this thing. I forget about lupus at times and enjoying myself. I love to dance. I love to hang out with friends. And I love to go for programs, for networking, and for information. That was where I met you. That is one of the things I do during my leisure. That's how I enjoy myself.
Fantastic.
I'm also a very fun-loving person. If you're around me, I make people laugh. I am a very, very extreme fun-loving person to be around with.
Fantastic. And my final question is, what excites you and makes you feel fearless?
I create my own happiness.
Please say that again.
I create my own happiness. My happiness does not depend on you. I don't allow people. Lupus already has had his own psychological impacts on me. Why would I allow you to mess up with my mental health? I have built that wall around me that irrespective, I chose happiness. Internal joy. That is one of the things that excites me, that I am happy. And I ensure that I always love to see people around me happy. Even with lupus, I still want to do extra, forgetting that I am also a patient that needs help. I go out extra I just want people around me to be fine. I create my own joy. One of the things that excites me is that I don't sit long in my pain. I turn my pain to my gain. So I don't allow rejection. Things that excite me are things that I see people around me happy, and me having that inner peace in my mind. It really excites me.
These are such fantastic insights, Titi. Thank you so much. As we wrap up today's episode, do you have any words of inspiration or advice for our listeners, particularly those who may be facing similar challenges or dealing with some form of disease or the other? Just a few last words for them.
Yes, I just want to tell you that, especially to my lupus champion, some persons call them warrior, some persons call them champion. For me, I am a champion. I'm a lupus champion. I want you to know that you are not alone. We are all in this together. We'll understand that this phase would pass. And this is who we are right now. We have to accept that change. We cannot change who we are. I have lupus. This is who I am now. So I have to accept. But there are things that I can do even to make life with lupus. So you have to be intentional and deliberate. Make yourself happy. Don't sit too long in your pain. Turn your pain to your gain. And I also want to let people know that there is an autoimmune disease called lupus. Aside HIV, aside cancer, aside malaria, aside diabetics, there is also lupus. Average Nigerian should know that lupus exists. So that message has to get to the remote areas, the villages. It has to get to them. Religious people, they need to know that beyond them, there's also medical attention for lupus. For lupus champion, don't sit too long in your pain. Be positive, have a positive mindset. Ensure you have a close, rapport and close up with your medical practitioners. Ensure they follow up on you. Take your time, it will heal. Be positive, be happy, create your own happiness. Nobody is going to come and make you happy if you are not happy. Lupus has its own mental effects, but aside that, you can if you are tired, take therapy, go for counseling, speak out. Speak out. Let people know that I have this. Seek help when you are tired. Like I said, you can't do lupus by yourself. You need support. You need community. And if you practice all of this, and especially have hope and trust in God, you will live life and you'll be fine.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Titi, and for sharing your inspiring story. We're so glad that you were able to come.
Thank you so much. It's indeed a great pleasure, and I am so happy that I am a voice for people living with lupus. Thank you so much, Ibukun.
Great. Okay, so as we conclude this special episode of our podcast, let's remember that inclusion is not just a concept, but a powerful force that can transform lives. And regardless of what people look like around you, because we really don't look like what we're going through, please show some love.
Yes.
Please be kind. And let's all learn to be more inclusive. We hope this has been an enlightening, reflective, and transformative experience for you. Remember to subscribe, share, and stay tuned for more inspiring stories, or register to become a part of my community at www.ibukunomololu.com. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn if you found this content valuable and believe it would resonate with other women or men who appreciate and support women. Kindly share it. Help spread the word to as many women as possible. Till I come your way again, I leave you with peace, light, and love. Please stay safe and remain positive.